Hey everyone, and welcome back. This video is going to be yet another video of making stupid stuff that nobody asked for. This was the last night's attempt to make a digital keypad type thing that would be able to run decimals, which was something somebody asked for. But then this morning I was thinking, you know what people would really want is to see how to hook this up, I think, to an external data source. I think one of the biggest questions that gets asked in the Noodle Discord is how do I hook up my Noodle app to X backend. I'm using Airtable, I'm using Xano, I'm using Firebase, whatever. People just are, it's obviously you want to hook it up to your backend at some point. So I'm not going to do a backend hookup today, but I'm just going to show. For me, it's like the more you practice this, the more you're just going to get this feeling of like it doesn't matter what the back end is. The Noodle is the front end. It has all the capacity to access any back end. You just have to get used to the way of doing it. So what I want is that when I click the tick, here's a problem that I decided was worth solving that is absolutely probably not worth solving. So we're going to take a product description. So why? Because I have always had issues with, let's do this side by side, because it's stupid, a lot of wasted space. I have always had, it looks really stupid as well. Let's do a little padding. That's not enough padding. Should be like that. Yeah, 40 is good on mobile, isn't it? And then the elements, we should like stretch them out a bit. Let's make them 20. There we go. Let's center this sucker because it looks a bit funny sitting there all by itself. Nice. Okay. Maybe 500 pixels was a bit too wide for that group. Anyway, doesn't matter. One of the problems that people I work with and I myself have had is like you're building a SaaS or something like that. You want to do like a price per user. Let's do that. Let's do it. Gosh dang. SaaS price calculator. SaaS description. Everybody wants to build a SaaS. So we'll do a SaaS description. And then we'll do price per user per month. So yeah, you're trying to calculate like how much can I scam people for my wonderful SaaS that's going to change their life, and they'll probably forget they're signed up to, and it'll just take 3 months worth of money before they realize that they want a refund and it's too late. So this is a classic problem. How much do I price my SaaS? So let's say you want to get like an average number of users per month. You want to get your SaaS. You want to get the price, and then you want to get how much, like let's say target monthly net revenue. Let's put in country of, let's put in business country. So then like if I live in France and I want this net monthly revenue and I have my SaaS and I want to have this price, how many users do I need to get to there? You know what? No, because that means you're guessing the price. That's dumb, and this whole thing is dumb. Let's just take this away from it. So we're not gonna do price per user. Take that away for the moment. No, leave it here. Boom, leave it here. All right, and then we're gonna like disable it so that you can't edit it, because I want an AI to give you the answer. This is what I'm getting to, and so just stay with me. We're gonna disable it. So enable is false. So and we can change the disabled state because it looks a bit funny. I want the text to still be, the border could be gray, I don't care, but I would like the text to be black so I can still see it. Okay, and then the label as well. Would be nice if that was kind of darker. Okay, so price per user per month, and that should go below this group. I don't know why, it looks really weird. Okay. Okay. What if we do, yeah, okay. maybe like projected users or something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's just it's just for fun. It's just for fun. I'm not taking this too seriously. Okay, so when we do this, then we're gonna send that with a button, and we're gonna send it to n8n to get n8n to calculate. Yeah, calculate. Okay, to price per user per month. Average monthly users, and something like expert advice. So I'll say like we want to send away. I'm gonna just take this out. We're gonna send this data to the AI and say, you know, this is what I'm building, this is what I want, this is where I'm based. Just calculate how much I would need to charge per month, how many users I would need to have, and what your expert advice would be. Cool. And then we don't need the keypad, so that could be for later. All right, so we got the front end part. We got the calculate button. It's not hooked up to anything at the moment. Maybe we want to just build kind of like an object, and this would be the n8n data object, and it's going to have a description. It's going to have a target revenue, and it's going to have a business country. And then this SaaS description, as soon as it changes, it'll update the object. We don't need to do the set object if you don't want to. Its set object is handy if you want to have it like react in other areas where that object is, that the object would say, "Oh, I've been updated." Then you would want to hook it up to the set object properties node. But here I just want it to store the stuff for me. I don't need it to do anything magical. So I don't even need to hook the button up to the object. Just leave it there. It's fine like that. And if I type stuff into it, I want to build a dog dating app like Tinder for dog owners. Our target monthly revenue is $1,000 a month, and I'm in France, so I don't know why I want dollars, but whatever. I guess probably mostly American people will want an app where dogs can date each other. That's not going to work in France, just because. Okay, so we want to send this somewhere. At the moment, it's entirely stuck in here, so let's send it out to n8n. So this is n8n. If you don't know n8n, look up YouTube and type in n8n Fireship. Fireship just did a video about n8n. It's super easy to set up. It shows a really good example on how to set it up. So we're going to say SaaS calculator workflow. And we're going to have a web hook. Web hook. It's going to be a post request. It's going to be called SaaS calculator. Why do I like underscores for for URLs? I don't know, just I prefer it. It's going to respond when the last node finishes. We don't need a response to webhook node because we can just get the output to be the first thing that comes back. Super easy. We're just going to put in an LLM node. Forget all this stuff about agents and all whatever. Just put it in an LLM chain node. It's great. Excuse me. And we're going to define the prompt. We're not going to use that fancy chat input node and whatever. If you want, you can play with that. That's great. But I'm just showing you how to do something a bit more useful. So calculate SaaS stuff. And we're going to define the message in here. So we're going to do a test webhook to see what kind of data we receive and what we need to put in here. So we can save. It's not going to let me do a test because it is it has outstanding issues. So we need to, what I do in this case is I just put in whatever. It's just you need to take up the fields that are obligatory or else it won't work. Also, you're going to need to attach a model. I'm going to use Groq because it's super cheap, but you could use whatever. Oh, I have another idea. We're going to use Perplexity. Do I have an API key for Perplexity already? Oh, I do. Woohoo! So we're going to message the sonar model because I want to do. So what I want to do is I want to scrape pricing data from the web to know what the average price is going to be, because how else is my LLM going to give me advice unless it can see what the competitors are doing? Gosh dang it. We're going to add in a system prompt and have a user prompt. System prompt always has to go above the user prompt for Perplexity, or else it'll be angry for whatever reason. And we don't need any, I'm not going to put any special things here, that's fine. You might want to think, if it fails, what are you going to do? So if it fails, we do want to retry, maybe. No, that's fine. We're going to just continue. So if it fails, it'll just carry on and whatever. Because we don't want it just to not return anything. That would be sad. It has to return something to our workflow. And then this one, we're going to say we're going to retry it if it doesn't work, because sometimes Groq can be a little bit difficult in terms of just being a bit capricious. So when it errors, it'll continue, but it'll try 3 times before it does that. And then we also want it to, let's one step at a time, All right, so we're going to test it out. We're going to execute it, but when we do that, we need to send something. So we're going to do a function call, function, and we're going to say, please send a send an input object as JSON body, a Noodl input object, an input Noodl object as JSON body. I'll show you a cool thing actually. Please send the Noodl object n8n data. So we can use the name of the object to my n8n workflow post request to, and then we take the test URL from here and put it in here, and then send. And sometimes you don't have to hook everything up, which is nice. And so we're gonna, when we click the button, it'll run the function. And let's have a look at what it has built. All right, so it is taking in n8n data. That's not what I want. So it didn't understand. What I want is that the n8n data is noodle.objects.n8n data. So that'll reference this object inside the code. I don't have to hook it up. I just have to run it, which is nice. It's again, like yesterday, sometimes you want it to be hooked up because you want to have that visual, but hooking up objects is a bit tricky because then you're like hooking it up. It's just the ID, right? Are you going to hook up all the properties and then have like 3 inputs to the function? It just feels a bit overkill. So it's sending to that URL that I gave it, and it is doing a post call, and it is going to stringify the body so that it'll send that object as just a regular JSON body. So we'll see how that works, and it's all set up for you, success, whatever. So it's great. And then when it comes back, we're going to do some stuff with it. So let's just put in a string node and get the response so we can actually see it a bit more clearly. It's nice when it goes out and in the sort of pipe so we can see it a bit more clearly, but it should also display here in the outputs. So you don't need to do this, it's just so I can see, oh, there's an output, that's cool. Okay, so if we click execute workflow, it runs a test workflow. It's waiting for us to call it. So click calculate, and then look at that, it's doing something, and bad request. Oh, it didn't work. Probably because I didn't even set up the Groq stuff, did I? All right, so Groq, highly recommend for anything kind of general stuff. Versatile 3.3 Llama is great with a temperature of 0.4 so that it can use its imagination a bit, but it also sticks to the system prompt, which we haven't got yet either. Here, that would give us a better calculation. And then when it outputs, it's coming back with, we'll see afterwards what it comes back with when it doesn't error out, crap out. So that's good. Okay, but the most important thing was now that we can save this, we can look at the webhook, we see what came through. So all the headers that came through from Noodle, parameters, query, we don't have any parameters, there was no query parameters, but there's a body, and the body is data, our object and data with the 3 fields that we put in. So wonderful. And now we have it outside of Noodle. So that was all it took to go from stuff I have locally here on my computer to stuff I have in my little n8n out there in a server in Germany, or it's n8n that's running in your computer, and that the address that you had was like localhost 5678 slash webhook test. That's also perfectly fine. It'll give you the exact same output, and then you can deploy that to a server later on if you want. Once you've tested it and it's working great, then think about deploying that later. So great. We're gonna pin this. So either pin here or just hit P. Well, you select the node, hit P. Pin means then I don't have to do any more calls. I know exactly what's going to come through, and now I can just work in here to fix it all up, and then I can get back to here to see what happens when we do another call and what comes out, and then I can display my data. So Sonar is going to search for this. So Sonar is going to search for your description. The system. Oh crap! No, that's not this. It's the system prompt. We needed the user prompt. So the user prompt is going to search for your prompt. I prefer just to have the prompt nice and naked and simple in there. And then in the system prompt, we type stuff like your job, your task is to research a user's SaaS product idea for price comparison, average user amount, percentage chance of success, any data that would help calculate that's better worded. Word your system prompts. Your task is to research a user SaaS product idea for any data that would help calculate price comparison, average user amount, percentage chance of success, anything to help validate the user's idea and get them to their monthly revenue amount. Okay, so we're going to have to put this in little fields. So we're going to say SaaS description. So we're going to have to beef it up a bit. Price per user. No, what was it that I said? Target monthly revenue, target net monthly. Geez, I can type revenue and business country. Okay, and then we just pull it all in from here because we've got it ready to go. And target revenue. Okay, nice. And then the next step is going to be. So we'll do the same stuff again. So let's just copy that and save time. Copy that save time expression to make sure that it puts in the expressions and not just a fixed data. And then we are going to say in the system prompt, your task is to use the supplied data to provide, what was it we needed to provide? The price per month per user, average monthly users, and expert advice. Price per month per user recommended based on the market research and the user's desired amounts. Average monthly users required at this price to achieve goals. A summary of your expert advice on how the user, or how feasible the business idea is. So we're going to say, give it a role. You are an expert business advisor specializing in SaaS products. Your task is to blah blah blah. Okay. So market research. So a little. What is it? That doesn't matter. Market research. And the market research is going to come from the Perplexity. So we're going to do JSON, which just references a Perplexity JSON, and we'll just see what happens. So let's, if we don't want to just put in the JSON because it will just come out as object and it won't show anything. So we want to do a little JavaScript inside that expression, JSON.stringify, and then have the JSON as the stringified data, null, I can't remember what that does, and 2, it's to make it 2 nested levels of making it look prettier. It's not just one big fat object, but it will like make it look like prettified JSON. So it's good. And then here we've got the okay. So let's just run that again, because now we have the pin data. We don't need to call it from Noodle. So it's going to scrape, and it's taking a while. It's thinking about it. Did it, so let's see. Okay, so it did actually work. So you can see the expressions we had and what that comes out to. So that's great. It's got, a lot of citations. To build and validate your dog dating app like Tinder. So it uses all these citations to basically make a message that gives us the data that we want. So that's what we should have put in here to not waste space. Because look, it's done the whole JSON object, which is too much. We should have said JSON dot message to access the message value. There you go. Cool. And then that went in, that did not go in, because I had it before as JSON, because it was taking in the JSON from the webhook, but now I've put an extra step in between the webhook and this, so it's not the incoming JSON anymore. I have to reference the node webhook dot item dot JSON. So now it goes to the webhook item to get the JSON, which is what we want. So that's the fix for that. Very common problem when you, because it's so easy just to pull in the stuff from here. And when it's the previous node, it comes in as just $JSON. That's easy. But then you start moving things around and adding things, and it messes it all up. So based on the here are the answers to your questions. So that's cool, but that's text. So we want it to come out as JSON. So we're going to put in an output parser. Now with Groq, this can be hit or miss, but let's see what we can do. So we're going to have price per user, monthly, let's say monthly price, I recommend underscores, price per user, because then it'll be easier to understand for the LLM is going to read this and use it as an example. Average monthly users. Needed, and then expert advice. Okay, so just leave them blank for the moment. It should be able to understand that pretty easily, but we'll see how it gets on. And let's run it and see what happens. Now, Perplexity, you can get an API key if you have to like sign up to their API program and guarantee something, or like check something that you're not going to do something or whatever, and you have to put in, I think, like $10 at least, and then it gives it to you. So here we go. That output has now come back with what monthly price it should be, average monthly users you need, and then what the expert advice is for my Tinder dog app. So to display that in our app, we need to go back and call again and see what that outputs. So, and we're going to make this expert advice field longer, because it's going to look dumb if it's just a little small individual field. So we'll make it 120, even longer, 180. Okay. So when I click calculate, it's going to send all that lovely stuff. It's going to take a while, so probably we should show like a loading spinner in the meantime. So let's go to the prefabs and get our loading spinner. Let's say that when we click the button, it's going to show the loading spinner. And when it's successful, or if it fails, it's going to hide it, because even if it fails, you want to get that damn loading spinner off the screen. It'll drive you crazy. Let's just get that away. We're using a switch. It's a handy way to manipulate things on the graph. So let's say if it's switched on, it hides, and then I'll switch it on and it hides. So then I don't have to, it already refreshed the page, god damn it. Okay, so what I'll do is go here and just steal this back again, because I wanted the same thing again. So that's 1,000 USD and France. Okay, so we know we're going to get a response we actually know what the response is going to look like. The response is going to look like this. It's going to be output.monthly price per user. So I can just get, what would I get? An expression. This is going to be an ugly way to do it, but let's take the expression to just pull out the values. No, let's not do that. It's ugly. That's stupid. Let's do like this. We know we're going to get a result. It's going to be response.json. So let's call that raw response. And let's do outputs.price is result.output, because we can see that it's an output object, dot monthly price per user. You can just copy it. Dot monthly price per user. And then same thing for the other two. It's going to be user number and advice. So what was it? We'll just take that again from here. And let's take the expert advice. All right. And then these outputs are available to put into here. So price goes to text, and average monthly users is user number. I'm not really doing the labels very well. It would be better if I had like a system for putting the labels the right way. And if there's an error, then we would want to show that in a toast. We don't have any toasts, so let's make a toast. Here's a toast to you, my friend. Toast. Show toast. So if there's an error, then we're going to show a toast, and we're going to put the error message as the message of the toast, and it's going to be a error toast. Nice. Okay, so we're going to have to do all the data again, which was here. So that and 1,000 USD and France. Calculates. Oh, network response was not okay. Good. That showed our error toast is working. And you know why that happened? Because we're calling the test workflow. So let's activate this so it becomes a production workflow. Very exciting. Production URL. So we want to get the production URL. The test URL is only when you're calling the execute tests. The production URL is the one when it's turned on, and all the executions will go in here as live executions. So we go and change the URL. And now it's webhook instead of webhook test. And calculate. Loading. You can also go and see how it's working here in executions. It'll show you it's running. So really, executions are super important, by the way. I'll show you afterwards. So we got 5 per user, but all the other crap didn't come through. Why is that? Response, raw response, output. So average monthly users needed and expert advice. Why did they not come out? What have I done? Oh, silly boy. Output. Come on, man. So yeah, anyway, that's debugging there. I'm debugging the output. I'm debugging the response output. And then I'm also debugging here. I can see, oh, okay, that went through okay. I got the data I wanted. Here it went out with the right data, so that should all be okay. If anything went wrong, you would do copy to editor. You have to get the free API key, the free license key from n8n when you start it up. So definitely sign up for that. Put in your real email. Yeah, okay, they get your email, whatever, but then you get the API key, and that will be really, really useful because you can copy and pin the data from that last execution and see how it worked, and then debug it directly in the editor, which is awesome. Anyway, let's calculate that. Wait to see the next thing that comes out, and we should have all of our values here and in disabled fields, so we can't edit them. Ta-da! 5 to 10 US dollars a month, 100 to 200 users. The business idea of a dog dating app for Tinder is feasible. To achieve this, it's recommended to start with a freemium model, offers subscriptions from 5 to 10 a month. The app should focus on building a strong user base with a small percentage of paying subscribers, additional revenue streams. Okay, cool. I would say if you want to experiment with models, Obviously, Anthropic is going to give you the highest quality response for the highest price. So you're never going to have a good business model when you're doing Anthropic, sorry. But it will, like, there's no comparison. It gives fabulous answers. Really, really high quality, super well developed answers with like markdown language and everything. If you want to use OpenAI, but you don't like OpenAI, then try Azure OpenAI because they actually host GPT and all those models, and they host them in Europe as well, if you're in Europe or in America, but it's not hosted with the OpenAI guys directly, so it's not like the dude, whatever his name is, has access to your data. So that's a good way to get around using OpenAI. I don't use any other ones apart from Google Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is good, but hallucinates a lot and is a bit of a kooky model. Groq is super cheap and has all the best open source models. I also use OpenRouter to use things like DeepSeek, which is really good. And OpenAI I never use because I don't want them to steal all my data. Ollama is really cool if you want to have something local. And any other ones, Hugging Face, if you want to use sort of cool stuff that you've discovered on Hugging Face. But yeah, my number one would be Anthropic if you have the money for it, or Groq Llama 3.3 Versatile if you want to go that route to get it cheap and easy. But it is definitely not as intelligent as Anthropic or GPT-4 or 5, for example. Anywho, that's that. It's done. So you've got your app. It works. Publish it. Get it on the internet. Start making some money. Yeah, you're going to obviously sell this SaaS. You're going to have to ask them to calculate how much you should charge per month for a SaaS analyzer app that analyzes how much your SaaS should be. So the only person who's ever going to make money from this is going to be you, but at least you're going to make money. So that's cool. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.